Welcome to part 10. Now, this is a bit different, isn't it? I've actually prepared for this episode, believe it or not. So I've got everything all pre-cut out, starting with the horizontal stabiliser. Yes, here we go. So this is basically to save a lot of time. I'm trying to bring things down to 10-15 minutes if I can. So, looking at the instructions, I'm going to race through it. How about that? And I just realised I've dropped something. Hang on, just a second. Right. This will come back into play in a few minutes. Okay, let's put it there for now. So, separate the elevator and horizontal stabiliser of 1mm Depron part Z8 by cutting down the laser cut score. So, for those who don't know, this is the horizontal stabiliser and this is the elevator. Okay, just for those who might be a little bit confused. So, you've scored down the line, you've cut that off because it comes as one part. Okay, attach plastic elevator hinge P10. Well, this is P10. Okay, you glue it on using your Yoo-hoo glue. Okay, and if you're like me, you let that go off overnight so it's nice and glued on, or cured, as we like to say in the industry. Okay, trailing edge horizontal stabilizer. Now you must make sure there is a hole here at the back of the horizontal stabilizer, that hole on this P10 lines up with that hole. Okay, and there is a faint line there that shows you how far to go as well, where to place it. So there you go. Ensure the 1mm holes line up on both sides. There you go. Yeah, right. Cut a 138mm long piece of 1mm by 0.4 carbon fibre strip and attach it to the leading edge of the elevator. They mean this stuff. This is 0.5 by 1mm. Okay, you cut that 138mm long and glue it on the leading edge of the elevator like so. Okay, now this is going great, isn't it, because I've prepared it. Okay, blah blah blah. Rejoin the elevator and horizontal stabilizer by attaching the central elevator hinge P10 plus 4 S27 hinge stickers positioned as shown above. Note, leave a 0.5mm gap between parts to allow free movement of the elevator. Now, he's talking about putting 0.5 millimetre of space between the horizontal stabiliser, like so, and let me just do this here. I'll explain why just a second. And the elevator. Now, being that carbon fibre is 0.4 millimetres, it's only 1/10 of a millimetre off 0.5 mm. So you might as well use that as a guide. So now you can put this together and you'll have a gap, and an even gap at that. How about that? That's good, isn't it? So there we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lick my finger and I'm going to lick that. Okay, and hopefully, with any luck, because I've not rehearsed this bit, that will stay more or less in place. Okay, and then all we've got to do, and if it doesn't, what am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. This bit I've not rehearsed. Some sellotape, or as they used to say on Blue Peter when I was a small boy, sticky back plastic. I want to temporarily use this. I cut off a little strip like that. Okay, and put that on there. Actually, I'll put it on right at the very end. So hopefully I can take this out at some later point. Put that in there like that, just to keep it in place. Okay, there you go. And it more or less does the job. So that stays in place. Now, I've got to take the S27, which are these. This is S27, and peel them off one at a time. And looking at the instructions there, they go on evenly. So you're going to have to sort of, unless you particularly want to measure it out, you're going to have to sort of guess it. So there we go. Aha, that's coming one long piece. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, so what we're going to do is put that, see there's a little faint line there. I'm going to put that in line with that, and there's your little grey line there, so that'll be the centre. Okay, and I'll grab another one like that. Okay, do the same that end, like that. Okay, so I'm just checking the camera. Okay, and then we'll do another one. That's a bit nearer, so I would take a guess and say it's nearer to that bend than not. So I'll have to take a guess, it's going to be that one there. Ah, there's a little not quite white piece showing there, so I'll put that there. Okay, there we are. And the last one, pick your finger, pick it up, there you go. That one goes there like that. Okay, so all nice and even. Now I've lost the carbon fibre, so that sellotape didn't work too well, did it? Put it back again. Okay, hold that down like that. Okay, don't forget it's just temporary. And you offer this up, and there's two white marks here, and I faintly see a white mark there, a white mark there. Line that up. Okay, hold it, forefinger and thumb, press down on those there like that. Okay, there you go, and then gently take off the sellotape like that. Pull the sellotape out, which then allows the carbon rod to come out, and there you have a nice even hinge. How about that? Isn't that lovely? Okay, so rejoin the elevator horizontal stove attaching the central elevator's hinge P10, which is that there. Now this looks as though it needs some glue on it, so we'll pop some glue on using the Yoo-Hoo Glue-Hoo. Okay, using the trusty toothpick, some people call them cocktail sticks. Okay, get rid of the stringer, there we go. And then we can apply the glue to P10. Actually, I'll put a bit more on there, because P10 is not self-sticking, you have to glue it on. Okay, there you go. Let's stick to one side, put the cap back on, and then press down rather firmly. Okay, and we'll just let that do its thing. Now, what I did do, I jumped ahead slightly in the instructions because I knew that this would happen. You've got to put the control rods in, and it's easier to do it while that elevator is off the horizontal stabilizer. So we're coming to that now. So 0.5mm gap between the parts to allow for free movement. Attach control horn base plates P12, P13 to either side of the elevator lining up the slots. So what they mean is, it's not so easy, well, you may be able to see it. There's a little plastic part here, okay, P12 I think it is, and underneath P13. Now the thing is, if you try and do it the way he's telling you, there's a probability you're not going to get it smack on. So what I did, I actually got the control horn, which is P11. This one you have to double it up and glue it together in two halves. You'll see when I do the rudder shortly. So I'll let that go off, put that through P12 and P13 through there, then it lines up perfectly, and then I sort of glued on the plates. Okay, so when you put that control horn in, if I can pick this up wetting my finger, it'll look like that. Okay, so you take this out, fold that in half, glue it together. Okay, and then it slips through these here. So there you go. And that makes that a very nice, very tidy job. Now then, what's next? Attach control horn base, blah blah. Push control horn P11, which is that, right there, through the slots until an even amount of the part is visible each side of the elevator, secure in place with CA glue or aliphatic resin. Well, I used Yoo-hoo glue. So that's in place and it's gone off, everything's cured. So that basically is done. There you go, that's all you got to do. Okay, so moving swiftly on, we come to the rudder. Now this is where I will be taking my time because I've done very little preparation for this apart from cutting things out. Okay, and I've got the instructions here, you see, right? So put the horizontal stabilizer to one side. Okay, so what does it say here? Remove rudder Z9. Well, there's Z9. Okay, and what I did, I actually got some of my Sharpie pens and I coloured in the edges because those edges are white. So I used the red Sharpie pen and the blue Sharpie pen, take the whiteness off. Okay, and actually it don't look too bad, that. I think it looks all right, there's no white bits on it. So that's my topical tip, and it says remove rudder Z9 from the 1mm Depron. Well, this is Depron. Okay, prepare 2 times quantity 2 14mm long carbon fibre rods. So in other words, let me just grab this if I can, wet my finger, works every time. See, that's your 1mm flat carbon. Now they want rod. Well, what rod means, it's round. Okay, so I've preempted them slightly. You've got to cut this round carbon fibre 14mm long, and you want 2 of them. Okay, fibre rods from the 1mm stock provided using a sanding stick. Here's one I bought earlier from the pound shop, 7-Eleven if you like. Okay, nail file to those uninitiated. Right, flat Create a tapered flat point to one of the rods using about 7 to 8 millimeter of the rod to accommodate the taper. So in other words, you've got to shape it halfway down. So halfway down, use that. You can see where I've used it, look. And just go across it like that, make it go flat. Not too much, because it doesn't take much to flatten it, otherwise you go all the way through. Okay, you've got to do that twice. Okay, 7 to 8 millimeter rod to accommodate the taper. Insert the tapered rod into the lower slot of the rudder with the tapered end protruding and the other rod into the upper slot. Attach the plastic rudder hinge P14 to the rudder as shown in the images above. So in other words, what it's saying is, put one of the rods in the bottom there, like that, and this one, flat in, slots in, like that. At least that's the plan. Come on, I know you want to. Oh, no you don't. Well, it went straight in last night. Woohoo! So, now I haven't glued these in because, to be honest, I didn't know whether I needed to. So I'm a little unprepared now. But I would suggest they probably do want to be glued in. But anyway, we'll find out in just a minute. Okay, so they go in like that. Yeah. Insert the tapered rod into the lower slot of the rudder with the tapered end protruding and the other rod into the upper slot. Attach the plastic rudder hinge P14. Right. Wetting of the finger. That's P14. Okay, and I've not taken that out yet, so here we go. Grabbing a knife. I'm trying not to cut my fingers off. There you go, P14. That looks as though it needs a little bit of a trim. And I believe there's a piece that goes over the top of this to hide it. Okay. So what do we do now? So attach the plastic rudder hinge P14 to the rudder as shown in the images above. So that's showing there. So pick that up. It goes that way round. Now there's nothing I can see on that rudder that tells me anything other than, let me get this the right way, so that way round, there. Yeah, that goes there like that. And I take it one has to glue it there. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. Attach that. And what I will do is I'm going to glue in the two rods. And we'll take that from there. So put that to one side for now. Okay. So taking the trusty Yoo-hoo glue-hoo, flicking with the finger. Okay. You only need to glue one side of this, or halfway I should say. Okay. We'll wipe off the excess with the trusty toothpick. Okay. There you go, all the rubbish has come off now, see, all the excess. I'm just going to double check with the drawing before I commit myself. And goodness knows I do need committing. So, that says do that. That's what I'm doing that. And that is your hinge. Okay. Now the reason I'm doing that now is because this takes about 10 minutes to sort of semi-cure. So just while I'm waiting for that to secure, is the only reason why I shouldn't turn the page. Prior to installing tail parts for the case, more stabilisers, touch the circuit. Can't see anything that's going to stop us at this stage. Alright, so okay. Now let's just double check from the instructions. So the tapered rod into the lower slot with a tapered end protruding. So tapered end's got to be protruding. I think I know the reason why. It might be the tail skid actually. Okay. So the pointy end goes at the bottom. Okay. Now it doesn't say whether it needs to be flat end pointing forwards or not. So I'm going to twist it sideways, and I'm going to guess that's how they want it. Because it doesn't actually tell you. So the flat end, yeah, to one side. I don't think it really matters which side it is, but I'm putting it to one side. Excuse me. And the same with this. Okay. Take off the excess and the stringers, like so, with your trusty toothpick. Okay. And I'll just do the same there. Which side's the flat side? Yeah, it's at the top, so that's got to go in there like that. Making sure the flat side matches that flat side. Push that in a bit. Yeah. Just double check those two flat sides are the same. It seems I disturbed the hinge slightly. Put that back in place. Okay, there you go. Right. Now the best thing to do really is let that go off and cure. So I'm just double checking my own work. That bottom one doesn't quite want to line up. It's a bit annoying. Might end up flying around in circles. Anyway, that's about as good as I can get it. So now we're going to get onto the horn of the morning glory, if you like. Right, insert the tapered rod, attach the rudder hinge P14 to the rudder as shown in the images. Attach control horn base plates P17 and P18. So I'm going to do exactly what I did last night. So I'll put that to one side just for a minute. Come on, there you go. And I'm going to grab this. So I'm going to show you what I did last night. Okay. So you free the control horn. So I'm looking for the tab. There it is. There's the tab. Cut through the tab carefully, obviously. Okay. So you got one little tab on there. Okay, and so I need to hold this up to the light. Yep. Okay, that way around, and cut through there, and cut through there, and they should, in theory, pop out. Okay, let's do a little bit of trimming, and I suspect this will as well. Okay, so that's now scrap. Put that to one side. So what we're going to do, slightly trim that off. Being as these are coloured blue, guess where they're going? On the blue bit. There you go. So, this is a control horn, and what we need to do is bend that over double, like so. So it looks like that. Okay, and then we put Yoo-hoo glue on there, like that, and I'll just take off the excess there with my trusty toothpick, taking the stringers first. I find twisting the stringers around a toothpick actually works quite well. Not too much glue on there sticking around. Okay, put that to one side and then place it together like so. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat now. I'm going to get some clips there, hold that in place and let that cure for 10 minutes, which means I'm now going to turn off the camera for 10 minutes and let that cure. See you in about half a second. What, back already? Yes, here I am. So that's cured now, and now this is my topical tip. Take this part here, pop it over the control horn. You'll notice on the control horn, for those who are observant, there's a little notch there. That takes you halfway, so you can't push it unequally through the rudder. So we're going to push that as gently as we can through the slot, which is a little bit hard to see just there. Okay, I'm going to make sure it's pointing forward, a bit like a Klingon vessel, and push that through. Gently, gently, gently. Okay, and then pull it through from the other side. And that it'll sort of click in. There you go. Now that's in equally. Yeah. Now, just imagine how difficult this would be if this was actually stuck in place. So this is a very, very close fit. So you get that over the end, like so. And you might want to use your tweezers. Push that over. And what this makes you achieve is that the fact that it'll already be in correct place. It can't be wrong. It'll line up. Okay. Now what we're going to do, pull that back a little bit, pop some glue in. Now it does mention using CA. I'm not going to use CA on that because that's foam. And okay, this is foam safe, but I'm not going to do that. So we use the trusty Yoo-hoo glue, and then just let it go off overnight. Okay. In fact, I don't like that glob. I want a bit more watery than that. There we go. Nice fresh piece. Stick that in there, like so. Do the same the other side. And then use the other side of the stick to get rid of the stringers. Okay. Put the top back on. then bring that back into the middle like so, and then push those plates into position using my flat tweezers. Okay, wipe off the excess. Okay, that's come out now, doesn't matter, put it back in a minute. And go to the other side, pull that down. And being as I've made this before with other Microaces models, I found that this works for me. It may not work for you, but it works for me. Okay, and there you have centralized arms in place, and then any excess just take it off with your nail, thumbnail, just rub it around a bit and it come off. Okay, and I'm going to let that cure overnight. Take any glue off the tweezers. Alcohol works quite well with this actually. I have got some. Press that down. There you go. And that completes that stage. The next stage, turning over the page, is to mount the tail plane onto the bird cage. Well, that'll be in the next one. So I'm hoping this has now come down to 10, maybe 15 minutes tops, and that's what you do, and that's how I've done it. So now you've got that, and that will at some point go into there. Okay, and see you in the next one. Don't forget to do the thumbs up. Don't forget, it's free of charge. You're not getting, it's not costing you anything. Just give us a like, okay? Or even better, subscribe, or tell a friend who's sad and lonely. Okay, see you in the next part. Cheerio.
Rats in my room. I am bothered by those rats in my room. By those dirty little rats in my room. I can't stand rats in my room.